We know Mr. Brown is a teacher in the series Mind Your Language, but how exactly did he become one? In the very first episode, Mr. Brown introduces himself as a BA Oxon, which means Bachelor of Arts graduate from the University of Oxford in England.
Enter.
Mrs. Courtney?
Miss.
Oh, sorry. I'm your new teacher, Jeremy Brown, BA Oxon.
You're a man.
Yes.
However, in Season 3, Episode 4, it is revealed what his A-level scores are. For those wondering, in order to go into university, you need to pass the A-levels or advanced levels exam. Here is the scene where Mr. Brown talks to Sid after he tried to seek employment via the employment exchange.
Hello, Mr. Brown, what are you doing here? I thought you'd left.
Yeah, well, so did I, but the job was already taken.
Ah, what'd you do?
Well, I went to the unemployment exchange and told them that I had 5 A-levels and was a BA Oxon.
What'd they say?
Offered me a job as a road sweeper.
Now, we also know Mr. Brown was an orphan from Season 1, Episode 12.
Yes, Tara, I know what you mean.
Did you lose your parents when you were a little boy?
Well, I didn't exactly lose them. I just don't know who they are.
You were an orphan?
Yes.
That's terrible.
Well, one Easter Monday, when I was about 2 weeks old, I was left on the steps of an orphanage in Jeremy Street. Hence my name, Jeremy.
So how exactly does an orphan like Mr. Brown manage to do well for A-levels and graduate with a BA Oxon? There is a way how he managed to do so. Since Mr. Brown's parents likely abandoned him at Jeremy Street, it is likely he was placed under foster care or at the orphanage where he was in. It is also likely Mr. Brown studied in his orphanage since there are no true orphanages in the UK. In this orphanage, it is likely Mr. Brown passed his O-levels, which comes before A-levels, before he took the A-level exams and went to the University of Oxford. Remember in Season 1, Episode 1, the local authorities sent teachers to schools. It is likely Mr. Brown went to the local authorities and applied as a teacher. All graduates in the UK who want to be teachers must have a GCSE grade C or above in both mathematics and English, regardless of their specialization. Since Miss Courtney's schools teaches mainly adults and is a state school, since they get funding from the local education authorities, all teachers must undertake either initial teacher training or initial teacher education, which means Mr. Brown likely have undergone these trainings before he was able to be employed as a teacher. Now to the question, why Miss Courtney still hired Mr. Brown, even though she preferred female teachers? Remember, when she gave him a month's trial, especially after what happened to the previous teacher, Mr. Warburton.
I distinctly requested the local authority to send me a woman teacher, especially in view of what happened with Mr. Warburton.
Mr. Warburton?
Yes. He was teaching English to foreign students last term. I'm afraid he only lasted a month. Then he departed.
Dead.
Demented. Yes, the strain was too much for him. Typical of the male sex. No stamina. Always seemed to be able to cope at first, and then one day he just snapped. It was really quite disgusting.
Really? What did he do?
Climbed out of the classroom window onto the roof, took off all his clothes, and stood there stark naked, singing "I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts."
Very distressing. Well, there's no need to worry on my account. I mean, I'm not likely to climb out of the classroom window.
I know you aren't.
Oh, thank you for your confidence.
It has nothing to do with confidence. We've had the window frames nailed down.
How very thoughtful. Well, I really would appreciate the job, Mrs. Courtney.
Miss.
Miss Courtney. I am qualified, and I rather do need a job, what with the economic situation and inflation.
All right, there's no need to whimper. You can start immediately.
Thank you.
On a month's trial.
Thank you.
If you last that long.
I'll do my best.
So he went crazy after a month of teaching, and he did a crazy and dangerous act. Hence, because of this incident, Miss Courtney, not wanting to deal with a similar incident, specifically asked the local authorities for a female teacher, but she got Mr. Brown instead. After the 1 month trial was up, Mr. Brown was dismissed and Miss Hardiker took his place. Initially, Miss Hardiker got along with Miss Courtney, but after the class used passive resistance against Miss Hardiker decided to spend time reorganizing the school, even though she was not in charge. Miss Courtney later tells Gladys that Miss Hardiker broke down 2 of her teachers and made Sid want to resign, or as she said, to handing his notice.
look harassed.
I am harassed.
Well, I suppose it's that new teacher, isn't it?
Yes. The foreign students haven't spoken a word since Mr. Brown left, with the result that Miss Hardacre is spending her time reorganising the entire school. She's already reduced 2 of the other teachers to tears, and she's caused the caretaker to hand in his notice. It's only a matter of time before she takes over my job.
Well, why don't you get rid of her and ask Mr. Brown to come back?
I can't do that.
Why not?
Well, not after having dismissed him. I have my pride. Mind you, if he asked if he could come back, I'd be only too happy to accept.
After realizing the damage Miss Hardacre has caused and could have caused if she was still employed, Miss Courtney decided to fire Miss Hardacre and reinstate Mr. Brown, knowing Mr. Brown would never do anything to undermine her, and seeing how Mr. Brown is well liked by his own students and is a patient teacher. She decided to keep him. Even though later all his students failed the lower Cambridge certificate, she still kept him because she knows she cannot find another teacher as patient as Mr. Brown and someone who will not interfere with her work as the principal of the school. There you go. I hope I answered your question, Van Zoyle. Take note, I don't do law videos because I suck at them, but if you have any video requests, I will do my best to make them, including law, though I usually do edits. Thank you for watching and have a great day ahead.